So here we are with the Gerent Bank Deposit Account Opening. Right now we have it where you can open deposit accounts for business. We also have it for consumer as well. And again, you can also navigate to those different consumer and commercial up from the top buttons, as well as these buttons right here on the screen. If you need additional help, we also have a questionnaire down here where you can get recommendations for the products that you might be looking for, where you can answer the questions and it will suggest products that might be relevant for what you need based on your answers. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and go home and just go through a basic consumer deposit account opening flow. As you can see up here, we have our product selector. If I select these different tabs, it will start to offer up what those products are. For savings, you can see I have savings and money markets. CDs, we have the CD accounts. And again, this is all configurable to, how you want to represent those different product families. For now, I'm going to pick a checking account. And all of these product cards are controlled by easily controlled by users on the back end in Salesforce through the product object, which I'll show you later on in the process. All right, right here has an initial screen of information that I would be typing in as a person coming into the portal and opening up this deposit account. Just filling in some of my basic details. The details that I use here are going to also be picked up for the OTP process. That is the one-time passcode. We're not asking for a full login. We do have the digital process set up with just the one-time passcode. So it is giving a basic authentication with some of their credentials. I have that option if I want to add a single owner or joint owner. I'll do single for now. And if I want to add a promotion code, I can add that promotion code as well. Right now it validates that promotion code, and later on you'll see it's going to also give me that disclosure for it. And here we are with those disclosures. So I have my electronic disclosure agreement, and we have this really nice scroll to accept. And here we have our account disclosures, and this is dynamically pulled based on the product that I selected. So it's not going to be just one document. It's going to be multiple documents, and based on the products I select, can surface up the appropriate disclosure for that product. So this could get very long and very large, but it's giving exactly what you need to present to your members and customers. And you can see over here too, if they want to download it, they have that option to download it if they want to hold it for later on. And my promotion code, and now I'm going to move on. Now here we're going to hit that one-time passcode, so I'm just going to move next. Let me put my code in and continue. So do I currently have an account with Gerent Bank? So no, I'm new. So now you see I have this nice option where I can scan in my ID using the QR code, or I can also come over here and upload a file. Now, after I upload that file, it's going to pre-populate as much data as possible found on that driver's license, and I just have to fill in a few more details because we know no one loves filling in tons of details that they don't have to. They just have to fill in their occupation and their company they work for. And scroll through just to make sure everything else is available and populated. And then move on. If I wanted to add a different mailing address from my physical address, I have that option as well. Otherwise, I can just leave that box checked and continue. Next, we have just a few customer due diligence questions for KYC. So do I expect to initiate wire transfers? And here you can see I have, if I say yes, well, I have international wires, yes. And then I'm able to put in the countries for those international wires. Otherwise, I could say no and leave it as just wires and estimated value of the monthly cash deposits. So we want to look at those cash deposits going in and out that they expect to make. So I will fill in a few details there. And then ongoing source of funding for account, example, payroll, retirement funding. Well, it's just going to be my paychecks. So I'll say payroll. Now I just have a nice review screen to look at everything that I've entered, just to make sure everything's accurate. And I can edit anything if I see an update that I need to make from this screen as well. But if everything looks good, as it does, I can now say next. And it's going to now run me through. So now that, since I approved, it just goes straight into my next step. I don't have to, it won't put up any extra screens, take up additional time. It just simply moves me forward. If I had had an issue with my approval, I would have had a nice message, and some information to reach out to the customer service team. So here we have right here, select services. So yes, I would like checks and debit cards, and it's just defaulted for online banking and e-statements, and I'm okay with that. So I'll leave those checked. And then how do I want to fund this account? So I'm using Gerent Bank, or I could use a different account to add my money in, and I'm new, so I'm going to go ahead and just give my information for my existing account and the money that I'm moving over. And I can see right here, it's giving me some help, telling me what the minimum is for that account. So I'll go ahead and just put the minimum in. And there we are. So my account just got opened in the core, presented my account number back, and now I'm ready to move on to go open up, finish up my online banking account. So on the back end, the products are very easy to maintain. They can integrate this with their core, where the core could be feeding in the products and updating them regularly. And then simply all the team member for the bank or credit union has to do is just come in here and make sure its status to surface up on those product cards that we saw earlier. So right here, I can show active, I can show online product, and then give a few more details, like you can see the minimum to open amount, which would be surfacing to tell me, how much I have to fund that account for. Do I want to offer up different services like debit card or checks? I have that option in here to select that information as well. And then if I scroll down here, I have that ability to add some more details, more specific, that are going to surface in those cards. So here we are now on the back end. The teams can see the application itself, have all the details that were filled in by the applicant, including all the funding details, the know your customer questions that were being asked. They'll also come over here and they'll see any files. There's the driver's license that was loaded, the approval that came through from your third-party vendor that's going to do your additional customer due diligence against the record. And you can also see all the products that were added and booked to the core. So if we wanted to also look at this from an in-branch or back office process where I'm actually now in the CRM itself, I'm not externally facing, not digital, but in the CRM, and a team member of your financial institution is trying to now do a deposit account opening, they can come right in here. And in this scenario, I'll select business. I can pick my products. I do have this nice way to sit here and add additional quantities if I need more than one checking account. And if I want to open up, let's say, a savings account at the same time, I can do that as well. Would be able to also, if I'm in branch sitting with a customer, I can go ahead and do disclosures at that time. And then add the new business. If I was existing, I could say yes and add an existing customer. Otherwise, I just say no and then continue new. Fill in those business details, type of organization, let's see, limited liability, and state. And if this was a sole proprietorship, I'd have that option to switch this to a social security number or keep it as an EIN number. And again, we have the nice Google search where we don't have to type in the fields. It automatically will do that for us once we find the address and then continue on. And now information about me. And again, we can upload those details from a driver's license that we have. And here I have now different roles that I can check boxes for that depending on, my role with this business. So here we have beneficial owner, and I can put my percentage in. So if I'm doing the wrong percentage, it's guiding me through that saying I must be at least 25%. If I try to do too much, it will also tell me I can't exceed 100%. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and say 30%. I can also add myself as the control person, and this one will require that I add a title in as well. And then all I have to do is just put in my social security number. Check just to make sure everything got populated and move forward. We have validation rules just to make sure if issue date is a date should be in the past, expiration date should be a date in the future. So validation rules built in just to make sure we're doing the right data. Let's see, this is a landscape company. I had my estimated revenue, operating account. It's going to ask me, do I expect to initiate wires? So if I say yes, I'll be prompted for international wires, and I won't. But if I did say yes, I could have that option to add countries, but I'm going to say no, it's all domestic. And then wanted to look at my cash that I'll have going in and out. I'll put in the cash values, no ATMs, no industries that we're involved with in any of these areas, and there's no gaming. All right, so now I'm on the final review page. Everything looks good. And if I wanted to edit anything from this page, I could do that. But looks good, so now I'm just going to submit and continue. Now here I have the option to add additional people to the deposit account. So if I wanted to add more people, I just simply say yes, identify their roles, and fill in the additional information. For now, I'm going to go ahead and say no and continue onward. Just need to upload a couple of documents. And all these documents that are required to be uploaded are driven by the type of organization that I had selected. So it is all dynamically set to show the appropriate documents needed based on what I selected for type of organization. And now if I want to add additional services, I can do that as well. So yes, I'm going to need some debit cards. I'm interested in credit cards, payroll services, and remote deposit capture. You know what? I think I also want I want some ACH, and I need a lockbox. Now I have my funding options. For now, I think I'm going to fund later, so I'm going to go ahead and select I'll fund later option. And now as someone on the back end, I can now see all those details in the application that have been filled in once it's done. So if we need to edit anything moving forward, I can adjust any of this information. Or right now we see it in a manual review. So I can come in here as part of that process, just double check these files, make sure everything is what it says it should be. And then if I feel like I'm ready to move on, I can just, move that stage over now to onboarded. And now that can be action where we can now have that, make that call to core and book the deposits into our core.